When Last Chance U debuted its basketball season, it took Netflix by storm. The camera crew followed the basketball team at East LA College, where audiences fell in love with point guard Deshaun Highler because of the emotional journey he had gone through to get where he was. Deshaun shined on and off the court. But once the camera stopped rolling, where did he end up? I'm Riley Winn. I caught up with Deshaun to tell you just what happened to one of Last Chance U's biggest stars, Deshaun Highler. From the first episode, you could tell Deshaun could ball. He was the floor general the Huskies needed. In his time at ELAC, he scored 12.1 points a game, averaged almost 3 assists, and shot over 42% from the field and from deep. He wasn't just a leader on the court, he was the emotional North Star off of it too. Deshaun had gone through a lot before he even showed up to ELAC. By the time he was 21, he lost both of his parents, and although it was difficult for him to talk about, his story resonated with millions of people.
You know, not one in a million on that. You know, there's a lot of people with sick parents that are still trying to achieve a dream while still battling with that. And it's hard because that's a fight. Like, me and my mom, we fought hard, and it was draining, it was exhausting for the both of us. And at the same time, I'm trying to get a Division I scholarship, graduate college, become a pro basketball player. Like, that stuff takes a lot of support. And my main anchor, my main support had to go fight. She had to go to war. And so that was okay because she had to. And so it had to be okay. So I had to figure it out. The response was exactly what I had hoped for. So I get hundreds of messages to this day. You know what I mean? Like, hey, my mom just got sick, or I had a parent pass years ago. I'm sick myself. All kinds of things.
Deshaun's uphill battle wasn't over yet, though. Mid-season of filming while the Huskies were making a run for the state tournament, the pandemic hit. Like everything else, their basketball season was canceled.
COVID got me in a panic. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, being in the position I was desperate to get to that state tournament. We all were. At this point, first school that rocks with me, I'm going. You know what I mean? Because nobody else is rocking with me, so first school that rocks with me, I'm going. And so COVID only solidified that. Like, I was like, man, if I get one, I'm out. And so Sac State messaged me, coach called me, asked me if I was interested, told me they would like to offer me. I'd never heard those words in my life. And so I was like, I'm there. No, didn't do a visit, nothing. Boom. I was a Hornet.
Deshaun's time with Sac State was a tougher transition than he thought it'd be.
It was interesting because I came from being the captain on my Huskies team, leading those guys, you know what I mean, kind of having a voice. And when you get to college, if you're not designated to be that guy, kind of really early on, you know, by the coaches, if you're not kind of placed in that position, then you become just one of the guys. And it was a struggle for me, not because of that, because I've been in that position before. That's now I'm away from Riverside, completely on my own, and can't call my mom for the first time. I could always go home right away. And being in Sacramento, away from everybody, just me and Kiara, it was hard for me. I struggled. Ended up ineligible for the second half of the season. Grades struggled just because I couldn't prioritize it. It was hard for me to prioritize it. It was hard for me to not put my mind solely on basketball and only go that way.
Despite his struggles of adjusting to the D1 level and school, Deshaun still had his sights set on playing basketball professionally. At Sac State, Deshaun averaged 4.7 points, 1.8 rebounds, and 1.5 assists a game. Those aren't stats that have a lot of teams calling your number, but Deshaun was determined and got a lucky bounce.
My opportunities to go pro out of that were really slim. I had to do a lot of work, like a lot of networking, a lot of calling people, a lot of thinking about who I knew. And I remember this coach that had seen me play at ELAC my first year, and he had come to work with us. He was best friends with Coach Mosley. I must have impressed him because after practice, he told me, like, hey, when you're done with college, let me know. Because he's that type of guy. He's not the pro coach like that only takes the best players. Like, he likes to take players that he feels deserve it, and he gives them a chance. And so I remembered that, and I called him and I told him I was done with school, didn't have the best career, looking for an opportunity, and And he took me, and it took me twice now. Shout out Coach Bernardo. It's Coach Bernardo Fitz right there. That's my guy.
The last 2 seasons, DeSean has been playing professionally in Colombia for the Cimarrones. Last season, he averaged 9.3 points and 2 assists a game and had a season high of 17 in one of the last games of the year. DeSean has been blown away by the basketball overseas, especially the crowds that show up to the games.
The best crowds in Colombia are in San Andreas on the island and in Quibdó and Choco. So those are the 2 best crowds because they pack their stadium and it's super loud. I remember one game in the playoffs, my first season in Colombia. We had to stop the game in the 4th quarter because our crowd was shooting fireworks over the court at each other. And I mean, it was smoky in there. I was looking around and I was like, that was a moment I looked around. I was like, wow, like I'm in it. Like this is crazy.
Now the Cimarrones point guard is back in Riverside enjoying his time off. He's still grinding though, getting in off-season workouts and working towards his next opportunity.
Right now, at this very moment, I'm just enjoying my summer, just playing basketball where there's basketball. This is my first whole summer in Southern California since I started college, so I'm enjoying being back home for sure. Looking to get out somewhere in the fall time. A lot of teams end up flying guys out in August and September, so we're looking to do something around then. But just going to stay patient, look for the right situation.
Deshaun Highler hasn't just started chasing his dream because of his last chance U fame. From the beginning, he's put his heart and soul into this game, something he and his mom talked about since day one.
My dream has always been to be a pro. Whatever that looks like, because I always knew that either you're in the NBA or you get to travel the world. My focus on my basketball career has always been to take my playing career as far as I can until the wheels fall off, like word for word, always, since the beginning. That's what me and my mom talked about. When she passed, she told me don't let anything change that. So I'm not gonna let anything change that. I gotta play until my wheels fall off.
What are some other athletes who were absolute studs that you're not sure where or what they're up to now? Hit me up on Twitter and Instagram and let me know. If you want to see who we cover on our next episode of What Happened To, subscribe now and make sure to turn on those notifications. I'm Riley Winn. See you on the next one.